Our coverage of severe weather this morning. We have breaking right now a new tornado warning. We want to take you to going to the radar and zooming into this area. This is right on the state line, Louisiana and Mississippi. So this tornado warning actually includes a parish in Louisiana, Washington, and a county in Mississippi, Pearl River. We're watching the city of Varnado in this. 4:15 local time. This warning continues until. And notice that direction this is moving. A lot of the active weather has been moving north and east, but this particular cell is actually moving to the south and east at about 30 miles per hour. So we're tracking. I know it's a lot of heavy rain. Certainly, if you look out your window in this area, you see the rain just sort of swirling around, just in the wind in general, just whether there's a tornado or not. It's a very windy, torrential, rainy kind of system. Seek shelter immediately in this area because it's within the Doppler radar that we're seeing some change in direction, some velocity change here as we take a look at our Doppler radar velocities. So that change in direction is going to certainly contribute to the possibility of a tornado. That's one of the signs that we look for. All right, so we track this as it moves to the south and east. This is within a whole bigger line. Again, so you're going to get the torrential rain and just gusty winds associated with this whole line of thunderstorms, regardless of the tornado threat, because you can see this whole area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. So this is the area right there where that tornado warning is. And you notice on the reflectivity as well, and as you look at this broader view, you can see that there's sort of a notch right in here. And so that's another indication of where there might be a possible tornado. You can see that sort of inflow right in here. And then that matches up, I believe, with the area that we were watching for that Doppler radar reflectivity, velocity, I should say, in terms of the indicated rotation. So watching, again, this very heavy rainfall associated with this storm cell, that little piece moving to the south and east at about 30 miles per hour. There's again that reflectivity where you can see that notch in there. That's one of the spots that we look at when we look at potential tornado development. And that's one of the signs on radar that, of course, is used to create these warnings. So tornado warning until 4:15 includes the city of Varnado, includes the county of Pearl River in Mississippi, and the parish of Washington in Louisiana. We're tracking that little storm cell itself to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. In general, we've got this line of thunderstorms that sets up and runs from southwest to northeast. And in general, the storms have been moving up towards the northeast and the whole line progressing eastward fairly slowly, about to get into the Hattiesburg area. We've had some big rain already through this area. As you can see, there's Doppler radar estimates showing us 3-4 inches of rain. Just saw Jackson, Mississippi. You picked up a quick 2 inches of rain in just the last couple of hours. Hammond, Mississippi, or Louisiana, you guys have been underneath the big heavy rainfall here as well. And Baton Rouge, luckily the rain is winding down, but I think already too much rain is probably causing some issues out there for you. So 6-hour rainfall. Look at some of these totals. More than 4.5 inches of rain, not too far from Laurel in Mississippi. We're looking at some very heavy rain up towards the Jackson area, 4.5 just to the south of town, and then Vicksburg to Jackson. I mean, look at all that rain right along the I-20 corridor. This big rainfall is a big part of this story. Of course, there's a severe threat with damaging winds, and there has been that isolated tornado risk through the overnight, but don't underestimate the rain and the concern for flooding and the issues that can bring. Stay off the roads. There are portions of I-20 that are closed because of mud and debris. We've got I-20 here just to the east of Jackson getting some very heavy rain right now in Mississippi. Brandon, Jackson, and Pearl all under a flash flood warning until 4:45 local time. And again, you can see that we're just continuing to see heavy rainfall on top of the areas that just picked up about 4 inches of rain. So big concerns for flooding continue as well right here. Watching this rain across this whole area today. Southeastern Louisiana, the rain just about to move into New Orleans, and we'll get it into Mississippi as well. Flash flood watches up in combination with some of those other watches that we've been tracking for you as well. So busy day here into the southeast. It's happening right now. We're going to keep on watching it further east into the. We've had a couple of showers, and we'll still get that before the main line comes on in. Today, as we look at the Birmingham area, we have a 3 on your Torcon. That's a 3 out of 10 with the risk of tornadoes. So let's time it out and give you a better indication of when you really need to be ready to hunker down today. Rain already moving in. There is the potential for damaging winds and hail with these storms, as well as very heavy heavy rainfall and that isolated tornado risk. Starting this morning at the morning rush, you got storms coming in. The peak will be between about 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. and then hopefully things wrap up right after lunchtime is what right now the timing looks like. We can show you actually on our future radar what this radar will look like this afternoon. Again, this is one indication, one forecast, one model forecast of what the radar could look like getting through the day. So we start this morning and then we put this into future mode where Birmingham, you get a couple of showers, but then the whole line presses in, coming in at about 7 o'clock. Tough rush hour for you from Birmingham right up to Nashville at I-65. This all spreads east. All roads are wet through the area. Heavy rain now becomes the next concern across the region. I-20, I-65, I-59, all going to be affected by this big heavy rainfall in the area. And again, taking it through the afternoon, we mainly dry out, though there could be a few scattered showers beyond that. All right, let's go to Atlanta. Time it out for you as well. There could be a couple of showers out there during the early commute. It's possible, but most likely this all holds off until later this morning at the tail end of the commute, coming through right before lunchtime. As you can see, getting into the Atlanta area, coming and getting out of the area by the time the evening commute really gets going. So for Tallahassee, we go further south, and your timing is later today. You can see here that we go from about 6 o'clock tonight till midnight. That's the timing of when some of the worst weather is coming on through. Most of your day, Tallahassee, going to be just fine until we get into the evening hours and then continuing overnight. Julie. It's about 29 minutes past the hour as AMHQ Early continues.
That's right, and topping our weather headlines, an active morning across parts of the south. And this afternoon, that threat will shift eastward. Torcons as high as 6 in parts of Florida and Alabama.
Now, yesterday, Louisiana took this story is so much rain that it's causing flooding. Flash flood watches are up in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. You can see this whole area, New Orleans, Jackson, Hattiesburg, 3 big cities that are in this area. Plus, there is the threat for severe weather. Now, we got a couple of watches that are up. A tornado watch until 9 a.m. That includes New Orleans and is just off to the west of Pensacola. We also have a new severe thunderstorm watch that is a little farther to the north and east too. Montgomery, you are in that. So here's a look at what we are tracking right now. So we've got a number of severe thunderstorm warnings along this line. It's a big line that stretches all the way from Alabama through Mississippi right into Louisiana. Everywhere you see these yellow outlines, these severe thunderstorm warnings. This one now just issued getting into parts of Alabama, just to the west, or well to the west, I should say, of Montgomery. It's in the western part of the state. But damaging winds, see this backward C shape, damaging winds potential for that. We go down the line and we've got severe thunderstorm warnings up all the way down just north of the New Orleans area here in Louisiana. And then we've got a lot of flash flood warnings just behind those. So East Baton Rouge, Livingston, St. Helena, all these parishes under a flash flood warning. Look at the 6-hour rainfall. It has been tremendous. It's coming in at over 4 inches of rain in a lot of areas, more than 5 actually over the Baton Rouge area and just to the north, 5.3, one of the Doppler radar estimates in the last 6 hours. There has been a lot of reports of flooding, and you know, within this area, there's also been reports of trees down as well, especially a little farther to the north. So travel is going to be just very difficult across the area through at least the first part of today until this all moves out. Right now, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for St. Tammany Parish and Washington Parish, Mandeville, Picayune, Slidell. You are all under this severe thunderstorm warning. Been watching this particular piece of the line, and within it there have been little pieces of rotation. There were a couple of tornado warnings, those have expired, but this is the kind of situation where we got to keep looking for that. Like right here, this is no longer under a tornado warning, but that certainly is a sign of rotation when we look at the velocity signature on our Doppler radar. So that's something the National Weather Service will be looking at, and they'll be looking at other information as well to whether to issue those warnings or not. You don't want to overwarn, but I want to tell you that there's the possibility that we could see some little spin-ups within this line. And Julie, as you know, they're all going to be wrapped in rain. If there is a tornado, it would be very difficult to see anything.
Going to be another really big threat with all of these storms as they're rolling through the southeast. Here's a look at our threat then, stretching all the way from Louisiana up through Georgia, Atlanta. You're in line for that, as well as the Florida Panhandle, where a lot of people are on spring break right now. Charleston, South Carolina, all the way up into Charlotte as we get into the late night and late evening hours as well. Taking you out to our Torcons now, a 6 here for South Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, a 60% chance there of a tornado. 5 here in South Georgia and northern Florida. And as we head north a little bit more, we're looking at maybe a 4 for Central and East Georgia and South Carolina. So a little bit less as we get a little bit farther north into Georgia. Nonetheless, can't rule out those spin-ups as Jen was talking about. All of the ingredients are in place. We've been watching this system develop through the weekend. Our storm system now pushing east, meeting up with more low-level moisture. We've got rotation in the atmosphere. atmosphere. Our mid-level disturbance well to the north. So we do have some spin out there, and certainly not a surprise. Future radar picking up on some pretty considerable storms coming through places like Nashville. This is a look at 6 o'clock in the morning. Birmingham for you, probably going to be an arrival of around 7, 8 o'clock, and then in through Mobile as the morning wanes on. Certainly as you're traveling in and around I-10, I-20, it's going to be very rough out here. Atlanta looking like around a lunchtime arrival for you. So this particular model has slowed down the storms just a little bit for the Atlanta area. Nonetheless, it's something we're going to have to keep our eye on, Jen, as these things change throughout the morning. Speeding up, slowing down, doesn't matter. Going to be messy out there, to say the least. And a time when you really have to have a way to get those warnings. Don't get out on the roads if you don't have to.
Yeah,
today.
And that's especially the case this morning. I want to show you where we have severe weather today. A large red area. So it includes New Orleans and Birmingham and Atlanta and Tallahassee and Charlotte and Charleston. So we're going to watch the line of thunderstorms we have right now continue to track east right through the morning and even into the evening and overnight. Well, that threat is going to be ongoing. So again, this red area includes the threat for hail, damaging winds, and a tornado threat. It's a 6 in southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. That's a 6 out of 10, a 60% chance of tornadoes there. 50% a little farther to the north. 4 out of 10 in central and eastern Georgia and South Carolina as we get to through the afternoon hours. So let's take a look at everything going on out there. All the ingredients coming together. You know, yesterday, this warm front was actually the focus for a lot of the severe weather. Now we've got warm sector thunderstorms going on. So we're going to see lots of southerly winds pumping up the moisture, and there is a lot of that coming in too. So heavy rain will be part of the problem. Very strong southerly low-level winds coming in. The speeds are strong, and there is some turning of the winds too. So that change in wind direction with height is also going to help contribute to that tornado risk. That's a big part of it actually for today. So let's take a look at what's going on for you in the radar, the forecast radar into the morning. This is 6 a.m. forecast. Nashville, the rain already moving in. You got a tough rush hour ahead, Nashville, because these storms are coming through right at that time. We take it down into Birmingham, and you've already got some rain in the area. Winds, strong winds with thunderstorms expected to come in through your morning commute and just after as well, extending until about lunchtime. Now here, the lunchtime hour, you can do red on this so you can see that a little bit better. The lunchtime hour, you can see the Atlanta area. We still got storms off to the north and west, but coming through soon after that. Strong damaging winds a possibility. And then these thunderstorms down here getting in through, say, Pensacola over towards Tallahassee and down towards Panama City Beach. Those could pack a punch with potential tornadoes. We've got that risk for you into the evening, starting about 6, 7 o'clock. And then we got to be ready for the next round of severe weather, Julie, because this comes through one day break.